Hi, my name is Chelsey Jones. This is my final video project for Madison Cosby's philosophy class. I'll be going over ethics. Also, keep a lookout for that little guy in that corner. He'll be popping up shortly throughout the video. There we go. Hi, my name is Sarabats, and today I will be talking about ethics of philosophy with my co-host, Francis. Francis?
One eternity later.
And this is Francis, my co-host.
Hello. Am I late again?
That's okay, Francis. I'm just glad you were able to show up for this episode today.
So, what are we talking about?
That's okay, Francis. We're going to be talking about ethics of philosophy, the leading philosophers, the main topics of each one of them, as well as going into a deep dive of how they came up with those ideas and how they are used today. Immanuel Kant will be the first one we discuss. He is associated with deontological ethics, and he is rule-based, meaning acts are always either right or wrong, based on predefined ethical rules and principles, regardless of potential outcomes. Since I'm talking about Kant, I need to bring up the maxims, which is a rule or principle guided by an action. An example of this, of course, is not to kill, and don't lie. Lying can be one of the worst things you can do as a deontological philosopher because you are denying the truth. An example I'll be using is, would you rather save a niffler or keep your life savings? This is because if you lie, it goes against Kant's teachings. But if you tell the truth, then you are following Kant's ways of not lying and telling the truth and being upfront.
Okay, so as long as you tell the truth, then you're doing the right thing.
John Mill is our next philosopher. He is the main philosopher for utilitarianism, who relies on consequentialism. The moral of an action is judged only by its consequences, which in this branch, intentions mean absolutely nothing. This branch judges consequences based on how much happiness/pleasure they produce, but there is a bad pleasure and a good pleasure, ranging from animalistic happiness to a human level of joy. A prime example of this is going to be animalistic pleasure, which is eating, sleeping, and sitting around and doing nothing, versus a higher pleasure is like philosophy.
Oh, but I love sleeping in and getting a good bite to eat. But I do get what they're saying is that we need to have a higher pleasures because of our higher thinking and understanding. Because without it, then what makes us different from other animals?
I think everyone can agree on that one. But on to the next philosopher. Aristotle created a virtue-based approach that focuses more on developing good character than determining the moral correct action, as well as caring less about the action and more about the person's character. If we have a good character, good actions will naturally follow, as well as following the golden mean. Part of being virtuous is expressing our human rational, and too much or too little of virtue can lead to acting irrational. A good way to remember the golden mean is by thinking of Adam Warlock meme. Let him go or this weird thing gets it. Don't be rash.
So to make sure I get this right, instead of abiding by moral rules to act morally, we will develop a virtuous character trait, and we can do this by being a morally good person?
You got it. Virginia Held and another philosopher are one of the leading philosophers for care ethics, but specifically Held focuses on cultivating and sustaining caring relationships, moral agents, or judged by their ability to consider the needs of others rather than their own. But the differences between these two is Held considers focusing on those who depend on us, such as children, elderly people, and people with disabilities, along the sides of global injustifications, as well as Held's main ethical theories. 1. Overlooking those who depend on us. 2. Too much emphasis on rational. And 3. Too much of abstract rules. And we are on to the last philosopher we will be discussing in this episode. Nell Nodding is known for care ethics. Specifically, she focuses on receptive attention and emotional discipline, which directs one's energy at the service of people who are cared for. Think of it as volunteering for a soup kitchen versus cared about is the people you hold dear to your heart. I'll provide an example. The differences between these two is care for is like providing soup for the homeless, and care about is about your personal relationships and pets. I hope this information helped you broaden your horizons about philosophy as well as take part in my meme culture.
I didn't think that ethics would really go into relationships. But since you explained it, it makes sense why relationships belong in ethics. Because it can be anything from a partnership or your relationship with your neighbors and doing the right thing to help others out. I should have expected you to add Jeff into this. After all, he is your new hyperfixation.
Yeah, you got me there. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Also, let me know how many Jeffs you saw throughout this video. And if you find this information very well liked, let me know, and I'll try and make some more. See y'all in the next one. Bye-bye!